I have to confess that this past election in Pennsylvania had me stumped. First, from time immemorial, the Democrats have cornered the market on contentious, no-holds-barred, bloodletting free-for-alls in primaries, and it was the Republican affairs that were more organized, with full decorum, and usually their candidates played by the Marquis of Queensberry rules. I have been editorializing for several years on how the parties have traded places. Until recently, the Democratic Party had been the party of working people, the middle class, the non-college degreed trade unions, and everyday Joes and Janes. No longer. These groups are now primarily represented by the Republicans. On the other hand, it was the Republican Party that used to represent the 1%, the college-educated, upwardly mobile corporate elites, Hollywood celebrities, and the kind of folks that lived in gated communities and country clubs. No longer. Now these groups are primarily Democrats, and you can throw in big tech and social media for good measure. I would proffer this to account for what took place last week in Pennsylvania's primary. On the Democratic side, you had a very orderly, non-contentious affair. In the Democratic gubernatorial primary, the party elders helped clear the field for Attorney General Josh Shapiro, who did not participate in a campaign as much as a coronation. On the Republican side, on the other hand, it was a free-for-all. 12 candidates who stayed until the bitter end, even though only 4 ever got to double digits. This contributed in large measure to the election of Senator Doug Mastriano, the farthest right candidate, who would have had a difficult time in a 2- or 3-way race. As for Pennsylvania's U.S. Senate seat, on the Democratic side, it was the same. There were only a couple of candidates, but the race was over almost as soon as it got started and proved to be a coronation for Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, who actually won all 67 counties. Contrarily, on the Republican side, it too was a melee with 8 or 9 candidates. And with due respect for a late charge by Kathy Barnett, the race devolved into an eye-gouging affair between national TV celebrity Dr. Oz and former West Pointer Dave McCormick. I had been predicting for some time a Republican tsunami in Pennsylvania because the national Democrats are on the wrong side of just about every single issue that matters to voters. But the question in Pennsylvania is now a lot more complicated due to the kind of disharmony that pervaded the Republican primary, which once had been the sole province of the Democrats.